What it do, baby? Sans restriction, bienvenue, welcome to my pod. Sans restriction. Now, this is usually in French. Only on Wednesdays we'll have this pod in English. And I usually do my intros maybe once or twice, but usually one time I send it to Bruno, our engineer, and everything is fixed. Now, since it's in English, this is my 6th time doing the intro. So I want to go to the interview like right now, and I want to make sure that everybody who's listening to it right now, like all my friends and family and all the people from back home in Quebec, I want to make sure you understand this. I have an accent, I'm proud of it, get used to it, and this pod will be crazy because we have none other than one of the greatest women's hockey player of all time, the face of the PWHPA movement. She is a gold medalist. She is a championship, world champion. I mean, she did everything for women's hockey. So I have her on the pod. She's one of my, I look up to her a lot because I didn't know her before today. So let's go and let's talk to my girl, Kendall Coyne, baby. She is a 6-time world champion, 1-time world junior under 18 champion, 1-time Olympic champion. She won the Patty Kazmaier Award as the best female college player in the US. She is the real American badass, not the Undertaker. Yeah, I'm talking about Kendall Coyne. How you doing?
Hi, Kevin. Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's the quarantine? Where you are right now?
I'm currently in the suburb I grew up in Orland Park, Illinois.
Okay.
I'm here with my husband. We've been here since our world, like we know it, stopped, and it's been going. Not very fast like we're used to, especially in the sports world. But we've been making the most, doing workouts in our basement. We've been really trying to do a lot of work in our community because this is home, and there's a lot of need right now for a lot of people, especially a lot of kids who aren't in school who rely on meals. And so we've been finding ways to give back and provide for those families in our town. And so we've been staying busy with that, and then working out, biking, rollerblading, not him rollerblading.
I saw the video of him skating, eh?
Yeah, I think we might need to get him some rollerblades. It might help translate on the ice a little bit better, but we're working on it. We have to also be smart because we can't let him get injured.
No.
Doing hockey related things because he is a football player. But we've been trying to, make the most, and some days feel longer than others. But at the same time, we're so grateful and thankful for those on the front lines who, putting their life on the line so the rest of us can stay inside. And we know that's our part, that's our job, and we have to do our part by staying inside. And I think, when you think of athletes, you think of people who are able to adapt to the role that they're given. And as two elite athletes that we are, we know our role right now is to stay inside and stop the spread of this disease. So, I think when times get tough and we're getting a little anxious, we just remind ourselves, what, that's our job right now. And we have to do our job and do our part. And that's, being inside.
I'm going to be real with you. I've been doing this podcast with a lot of NHL players, but doing the pod with women's hockey player, it's so great because y'all look so smart when you talk compared to them boys. Oh my God. It's a compliment.
Thank you. Yeah. That's just what we've been up to. And, I would encourage everybody to continue to do their part. And, we're getting there. I think every day, there's more optimism, there's more hope, and there's more faith that our world will get back to what it is, and also, especially us for sports people, we want to get back on the ice, the court, the field, and get back to practicing and working on our craft. And so, but ultimately none of that's really important until this digresses.
I want to salute your initiative. I don't know. Is it initiative? How you say that in English?
Yeah, that's right. Initiative. Yeah.
You say it better than me. But you started the Schofield Family Foundation. These are the meals that you prepare for the people, actually.
Yeah. So my husband and I started the Schofield Family Foundation a little over a year ago,
Okay.
and the foundation has 5 focus areas, and those were 5 areas that really touched our heart and have had an impact in our lives. And so those 5 areas are military, first responders, families in need, youth sports organizations, and education and research. So, during this crisis, there are so many families in need, and right now there might not ever be a time where there's as many families in need than right now. And so, with the foundation that we built, we knew that this is a time of need and help. And so, our foundation provided 60,000 meals to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. We're both from the Chicagoland area, and then we've been volunteering our time, with parameters, of course, at the local food pantries to try and help box up meals and provide those meals for those families, because there were a lot of stipulations for people who can volunteer. One of those being you can't be impacted or exposed to the virus. You have to be able to lift a certain amount of weight. And being athletes ourselves, we tend to be able to lift a certain amount of weight. So we knew we could help in that regard, cool. and then be comfortable being out, in the environment. So we've been able to meet those parameters. So we were, able to help in that way. And when we made our donation, the food depository said we're in dire need of volunteers. And so when we walked in there, we knew it wasn't going to be the last time, and we needed to come back and put in the work and volunteer. So we were able to do that. And the other thing is our foundation is super excited to be able to give our scholarship to a student athlete at the high school that we both grew up at it's called Carl Sandburg High School in Orland Park, Illinois. And unfortunately, that process is being handled virtually, but we're still excited to be able to give that scholarship away within the next week. And wow. We interviewed our candidates all virtually on Zoom. And so, we've all been adjusting, but it's been, for us, it's been a time to focus on others and giving back and doing a lot of work through our foundation, because otherwise, we're usually really busy with sports and we have to rely on our other board members to help us. But since we're here and we can help, we want to be a part.
Let's talk hockey. Before that, the next guest on my podcast next week, my dude Caden Primo says, "Go Husky."
Yeah,
go Huskies. Yeah, he wanted me to say that to you. Okay, you are part of Team USA. I'm a Canadian. My heart bleeds almost every world championship in the past few years. How does women's hockey is treated in the US?
Yeah, women's hockey has grown exponentially since I started playing over 20 years ago. And I think when you look at the victories, like you said, the World Championships and the victories that Team USA has had over the last 20 years, those have really helped transcend the game. And, I was a little girl, I was 6 years old when the US team won in 98. And as you know, the last time the U.S. won was 20 years later at the Olympic Games in 2018. And so being a little girl, seeing those heroes to me really impacted my life in the sense that I wanted to be them. And it's so heartbreaking on both, whether you're Canadian, American, whatever, it doesn't matter where you're from, but the fact that the margin of error and the margin of victory really helps propel a sport. And to think there was a 20-year drought between medal colors in the United States had an impact on the growth, it really hurts because, I was a part of one of those silver medal losing teams. And you think, gosh, like if we would have won, how much would have it impacted others in our sport versus, of course, the individual and the elite athlete. And, you always want to win, of course. But yeah. I think when you think of victories and after you've had a decent amount of them, you really think, this victory is going to open the eyes of so many to come after me. And that's what's so exciting about it. And I think that's what's really helped propel the sport in the United States is the success that we've had over, the last few years. And it's really exciting to see. And it's so humbling to see these young girls grow up and want to wear the red, white, and blue. And I know, the Canadian players feel the same way and they have their heroes and they continue to be role models, in their country as well.
But before talking about the winning, we need to talk about the losing first, because that game was, I still have flashbacks. Okay, so 2018, the Olympics was for me the greatest women's hockey game that I've ever seen for me. Mm-hmm. But 2014 was the best ending of a game that I've ever seen, like hockey dot game that I've ever seen. When the puck rolled all the way to the post, are you like, oh damn, we're screwed? Or you still hope that, oh, we got this, we ain't gonna score?
Well, I think if you would ask any hockey player that question when you're up 2-0 with 3 minutes and 36 seconds to go in a gold medal game, you have the utmost confidence in your teammates and in your preparation that you can close out this hockey game. And it shouldn't take a post here, a post there, and a missed empty net to take your thoughts that this game is over, we're not going to win. So I would say when Kelly hit the post, that there was still, I still thought we were going to win that game. So yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then Poulain happened. But so you bottle this loss, and then you go in Pyeongchang shootout, and then you see Melody Daou pulling a move, the one end, you're on the bench. What's the reaction? Because me in my house, we're screaming.
Yeah. Well, when Melo made that move, I wasn't surprised at all, because I remember hearing in 2014 when she was at the Olympics that she was like a shootout specialist, and talking about the Forsberg move, and just I didn't know much about her because she didn't play her college hockey in the U.S. and so I didn't really know much about her, and so I just remember being young and people talking about her that she's just unbelievable at shootouts, and that was 2014, and fast forward 4 years later, and this is the first shootout, and I'm like, here comes their big gun. She's, and I remember 4 years, ago, people talking about her strengths, the strengths of her in her shootout. And so when she came on the ice, I wasn't surprised. And then to see the move that she pulled, I wasn't, as much as I was impressed, I wasn't surprised because of, the scouting report we had on her.
And then y'all finally win it in the shootout. So what's the emotion of winning your first gold medal, and how was the party after? I need to know, how was the party?
Well, I think, winning a gold medal has been a dream of all of ours for so many years. And I think, experiencing the heartbreak of Sochi, and then, 4 years later, getting back and earning that opportunity and that Olympic residency year for any of us, US or Canadian, it doesn't matter. It's a long, gruesome year. I mean, you're grinding it out every single day. And, when you win, you really think back to those moments, all of the moments that you sacrificed in your career to get to the top, to be at the pinnacle, and to feel that gold medal around your neck and hear your anthem. It's the moment when we see the guys raise the Stanley Cup over their head. For us, it's that anthem. And so that was really the defining moment for me, that it hit me that we're Olympic champions, and, we accomplished this dream together. And, what was so amazing was to see the impact it had on our country, and how many young girls picked up the sport because they saw it, maybe not live, maybe they saw it was late. It was really, really late. But and then afterwards, it was special to be able to celebrate with a lot of the other athletes in the village. And I remember it was super early in the morning. I don't even remember what time, but we went on the Today Show, which was, late in Pyeongchang, but early morning, in the United States. So we were still jazzed up, still super excited. And I just remember watching the highlight of Jocelyn's goal over and over again as we were sitting on stage at the Today Show. And just every time I watched it, it just got better and better and better. And we went on a little victory tour afterwards. We started in LA. We finished in New York, and it was incredible. And every time it just sunk in a little bit more. And there were so many people that were waiting for us, whether it was outside our hotels or, outside the NHL games that we were going to. They were there, and they wanted to see our medals, talk to us, congratulate us. And it was an eye-opening moment, because a lot of people don't give credit to women's hockey that it deserves. And that moment really showed that it does matter. This sport is visible. And when it is visible, people care about it. And we're working to make it, visible more than just 4 years at the Olympic Games. But it was incredible. It was a special group, and I was honored to be a part of it.
So your boyfriend, or your husband, Michael Schofield III, won the Super Bowl. What's the better party? the Super Bowl or the Olympic gold medal at Pyeongchang?
That's a great question. I think it would depend who you ask. Flow Rider showed up to his party.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, that was really cool. So that was so cool.
Well, who showed up at yours?
It was just us and like, but yeah, it was, I mean, to be honest, being at his Super Bowl victory really motivated me. And, I was, a few years before that, it was 2 years after Sochi, I knew what that heartbreak felt like to reach your childhood dream and then to fall short. And so when I was at the Super Bowl, I'm like, oh, I just don't wish this feeling upon anybody. I was freaking out because I know what that feeling's like. And to see him accomplish his childhood dream really fueled me, to accomplish mine 2 years later in Pyeongchang. But I would say both celebrations had their benefits, and I think they're both special moments that any elite athlete that wins a championship, you really cherish that moment because you worked your whole life for it, and it's finally that moment where you can take a deep breath and not worry about anything.
What it do? It's my 7th time trying to tell you, if you want to sponsor the pod, this is the way to do it. You holler at us on social media and you make sure that this podcast lives forever and ever, because this is the podcast of the people, and your company can make sure that this lives on forever. So I'm gonna make it quick because I don't know what to say, what to do. It's in English. I'm scared. I got a hot potato in my mouth, but you know what? I'm giving it a shot and I'm proud of myself. Let's go back to the interview, baby. So we'll talk more about the PWHPA and everything y'all doing right now, but now almost every women's hockey players are coming together to build something, to build a future, to develop a sport. But at the same time, it's still the biggest rivalry. I can't say that word. Rivalry?
Oh, rivalry.
It's still the best rivalry in sport. For me, Canada versus the US, women's hockey ain't better than this. So how can you come together with all those big wins and big losses?
Yeah, I think it speaks volume. It speaks volumes to what we're trying to accomplish. And to be honest, through the creation of the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association, I've been able to get to know a lot of the Hockey Canada players on a personal level. And at Northeastern, go Huskies, Caden. I didn't compete with any of them, and a lot of my teammates have competed alongside some of the Hockey Canada players through their college experience. However, through mine, I didn't. So I really didn't know many of them on a personal level, just as a respected competitor. And so through this experience, I've been able to get to know them. And I think it can't be more clear that when we take off our nation's colors, we're in this fight together. And it really matters to all of us equally to leave this game better than when we entered it. And to get to know them, I thought it was going to be so awkward and challenging, but it really isn't, because we're all so competitive. We're all so elite in what we do, and we care and revere this game so deeply that we're not going to let anything get in the way of it. And when you put highly, highly competitive people together and in one room, we're going to accomplish whatever we set our mind to. So we know together we're stronger than we ever were apart. And, we know we're apart when we put on those colors, but at the end of the day, when we take them off, we're on the same team. And I think the PWHPA speaks volumes to that, because even when we do play against each other in those showcases, our jersey has the exact same logo on the front.
And if people want to know more about the PWHPA, the gap year, I did a docu-series about it, so you can go on social media, people, and write gap year, and you get 20 athletes speaking about women's hockey and the ups and downs of being a women's hockey player. But my question to you is, so you played in the NWHL. Okay, this is a question that I couldn't ask to the girls that I interviewed because they didn't play there. But You played there. Why that there's still players there? Because for me, it's a concept that I don't understand. I'm not from the US. I don't know.
Yeah, so I played 1 year in the league. I played for the team in Minnesota. I was residing between Chicago and LA at the time. And you know what? To be honest, any professional experience that anyone in women's hockey has had to date hasn't been professional. And I think that's what our group is so focused on. We're not focused on,
Okay.
what's existed. We're focused on creating what can be existed and what we want that future existence to look like. But I can speak on my experience. My salary was $7,000. I was the highest paid player on my team,
Oh,
along
wow.
with the two other Olympians. 7,000 US dollars, I should say. But what was so challenging for me as I look back on that experience was the fact that I didn't attend one team practice.
No way,
And
Kendall.
all of us that are part of hockey and love hockey and embrace hockey, we know that this is the ultimate team sport. And there's nothing greater than being in the locker room with your teammates, grinding through those practices, working on your craft, working on your power play, your penalty kill, and showcasing all of that work, in the games that you play on that weekend. And I wasn't packing my life up, moving my life to Minnesota for a salary of $7,000. So I would fly into games. I would sleep on an air mattress on my teammate's apartment. We would play in our first game. We'd take our bags back to her apartment. We'd air them out in her essentially kitchen, which, left for a pleasant surprise in the morning with eggs and hockey sweat.
Ah.
And then from there, we'd play in the second game, and I would fly back to either Los Angeles or Chicago, no matter wherever I was, based on my husband's job at the time. And so for me, like it was a challenging experience because that's not professional, and I didn't give my utmost professional respect to that team by not practicing with them. But at the same time, I have to put my foot down and know that what my worth is more than that, and I can't pack my life up for $7,000 and do what I do. And so at some point you have to put your foot down. And I think that's where we've come in women's hockey, where we have to forego the convenience of saying I guess this is fun to play in. I guess this is okay. This is professional. And, Kevin, I watched the WNBA draft on television on Friday night, and it puts me in tears in the sense that that's the vision I personally have for women's hockey. I can't wait to see players graduate from college and have no idea where their life is going to be, and then get drafted by a city and compensated to move their life, whether it's across the country or down the street, but to win a championship for that city and to be embraced by that city. And I think we saw that within the NBA and the WNBA on Friday night, whether it was, the NBA players welcoming their sisters, their sister organization and their sisters to their new organization, their new team, and seeing that camaraderie and seeing that gamemanship among athletes, because they play the same sport and they deserve the same respect.
But at the same, and I'm gonna speak my truth. You don't need to say anything, but I'm gonna speak my truth about that. Got to come from the boys too. I mean, when I see LeBron James tweet about Sabrina going to New York, she get that rub. That LeBron James is the greatest athlete of all time rub. We need our boys, and I'm close with a lot of them, and I do a hockey game here in Canada, in Quebec, where it's the athlete and the artist, they play together, and the first year I had the girls in the game, I remember the NHL guy were like, "Man, who's that? She's so fast. Look at the hands." And I was like, guys, they are professionals. So it starts with the boys too. And that's why I'm saying it right now, because a lot of them are listening to this. So guys, y'all need to tweet Kendall, Melo, Poulain. Y'all need to put them on the map more than ever right now.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, though, to their defense a little bit is they don't know where to find us. And it's easy for LeBron to find Sabrina. They're in a brotherhood, sisterhood organization. They're owned by the same, people, and they're right under each other and over each other in the sense that they go to each other's game. These NHLers are, I skate with a lot of them in the summer, and they're constantly like, so who do you play for? Where are you playing? What are you doing? Yeah. And I wish it was as clear cut and dry as theirs is. And we know where they're playing, where to find them, how many games a year they're playing, and, what team they're on, etc. But for us, we need to make that dream and that visibility more clear, because it is confusing. But I do know we have some strong allies out there within the National Hockey League. But yeah, I think, when their support means a lot to us, and it definitely creates visibility and validity to what we do.
So it brings us to the All-Star game in 2019. You skated your heart out there. You skated like there were no tomorrow. You were like, man, I'm going to do me today. So when you saw that you beat, I think it was a guy from Carolina, I don't remember. But Arizona, when you saw, I think it was Keller, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you saw that you beat this guy, what's the feeling? Like, are you, yes, I did this for women's hockey? Or you're like, oh man, I might get some heat on the bench?
Well, I think first off, when we talk about the All-Star moment, I have to start off by saying, credit is due to the NHL, the NHLPA, and the players, because all three of those parties had to approve that moment. And I don't think that moment gets approved without the players who came before me, and the players who I skate with currently. And we earned that moment for the future of our sport. And I think it opened a lot of eyes. And I knew going into it, there were a few things on my mind. And one of those was have a clean run. Don't worry about the time. The time will take care of itself, but have a clean run. Because if you fall, if you stumble, the narrative changes to, I told you so. They don't belong in this sport. And by they, I mean girls and women. And I knew I had that weight on my shoulder. Yeah. But I knew, skating is my strength. If there's one thing I can do, it's skate. And I've been skating since I was 3 years old. So I'm like, it's like riding a bike. Take a deep breath, enjoy the moment. And I do remember telling Patrick Kane, I'm like, I just don't want to get last. I don't want to get last. And because I knew I could do it. And if you recall, Miro Heiskanen fell after me.
Yeah.
And, thankfully he got up and he was okay. But then he went right back to the starting line. And I was like, oh, dang it. Like, I thought I wouldn't get last then, because he went right after me and I went first. But then I did end up beating Clayton Keller, which I think definitely opened the eyes of a lot more people versus if I did get last. So I was very happy that I beat somebody.
At that moment, I said, and I was, very close to a lot of players, women's hockey players at that moment, 2 years ago. I knew a lot of them, not as much as now, but enough for me to care a lot about you skating. Because I was like, yo, she can F this up for everybody right now. So you better stay on your feet. But at that moment, I said she changed women's hockey forever. And then the next year, y'all got the 3-on-3. I'm going to say something and you let me, you tell me what you think about this. I believe that you girls should be in, the other competitions. I want to see the girls in the other competition with the boys. Is it feasible? Is it something that the league is looking into? Because, shooting in a square, you're a boy, a girl, doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I think if you look at the progressions that the National Hockey League has taken over the last 3 years, they've progressed, incorporating women within the All-Star Weekend each year. And if you go back to 2018 in Tampa, Hillary Knight did the accuracy shooting against, or Brian Boyle won, and she just demonstrated it. But her time, I think, unofficially was either second or third in the competition. Yeah. And then you fast forward to 2019 when I officially competed, and Brianna Decker was unofficially competing in the Premier Passer, and she took second to Leon Draisaitl in that event, and then I took 7th out of 8th in the skating. So we have dabbled in the competitions throughout the last 3 years, but I think there was a huge victory from the 3-on-3 event this year because there were 20 women incorporated. And if we were to, scatter among the individual events, I don't know if we could have 20 women. So I consider this a bigger win because we get more players on a platform that is arguably the biggest platform that we saw this year, especially with all of our tournaments being canceled. And where I see, where I hope to see this go in the future is to see more players being incorporated from all around the world. the best players from around the world, because we all know that there's some incredible players out there that aren't on that ice, that the world would finally get to know their name, especially in North America, that they don't always have the opportunity to do so. So I hope we can incorporate them in the future.
Man, the time is going so fast. I wanted to talk about so much thing. You good. Hey, it's fun. You're the first one we do in English. It's fun. Oh. You're killing it right now.
Thank you.
Killing it right now.
I wish I knew French, but I just know bonjour.
Hey, it's better than nothing. Better than half of the players that plays
here.
Un,
deux, trois. Is that 1, 2, 3?
What? Go for it.
Un, deux, trois.
Un, deux. Well, it's kind of good. Un, deux, trois is kind of good.
That's all I got for you.
Better than my neighbor. But who's the toughest player to play against?
Oh, I mean, I think everyone would have the same answer from our side. Would be Pooh.
How good is Pooh?
Yeah, I mean, you just look at what she's done, especially in the biggest game of our lives, the Olympic gold medal games. You know, it hurts, but yeah, it's just. It's her compete level. I mean, besides her skill that everyone sees on a regular basis, you go in the corner and it's the compete level. She's not going to give up without trying to get that puck, and you're competing equally the same. But she's strong, and she works, and her work ethic is evident by her play, and she's good.
Yeah. Is there a player in the Team Canada roster that is, underappreciated, like sneaky good? Like I have a few names in mind, but a player that you're like, man, if people knew how good she was.
I think just off the top of my head this year, who had, I thought, a terrific year for Team Canada was Victoria Bach.
Oh my God! Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I played against her a lot in college, along with Pooh. So again, like I wish I could play with these players professionally because I'm really getting sick of playing against them. But I played against them at Boston University because I went to Northeastern University. Go Huskies, Caden! And so we played against each other a lot, and I thought she had a fantastic year. In the rivalry series, in the exhibition series, all the series we had against them. We played 7 games against Canada this year, and she really stood out to me.
Man, I'm so happy you said Victoria Bach because I discovered her this year. So smooth with the puck, skills, great skater, man. She's good. So with every guest on the pod, we play a little game because we want to know the guest, but we also want to know more about the teammates. So I said the name of a teammate, and you got to give me a quick, short story about the person. You ready?
Okay.
And now it's Team USA, so we don't know much about these girls. So you got to make me love this girl a bit more than I do right now. Okay, so Kayla Barnes.
Oh, Barnesy. I mean, you look at how old she was at the Olympic Games. She came off of her freshman year at Boston College. I think she played 6 games at BC and then got called up by the U.S. team, came in and fit in like a veteran. And at 5'1", I don't know what she's listed at, but roughly 5'1", she plays like she's 6'1", and that's the size of her heart too. And she competes and you watch her and you don't talk about her size because of her skill set and how smart she is as a hockey player. And as an undersized player myself, Kayla Barnes is someone every undersized player should root for because she demands the blue line like no one's business.
Amanda Kessel. She good. She very good.
She's very good. Yes. You remember that goal in the shootout at the Olympics?
All right. Oh, you want me to remember that? Why would you do this to me?
Well, if you're looking for someone to score goals in big times under a lot of pressure, she's always in those moments, and she always finds a way to capitalize. And I'm so thankful to have her as a teammate because I've been a part of so many big goals, and they always come off her stick, whether it's the Ottawa World Championships, that the shootout goal at the Olympics or the shootout goal at the World Championships last year in Espoo, Finland. There's been so many, but big game, big moment, you want the puck on her stick.
Brianna Decker. She good too.
Dex, she's been my line mate for 12 years. So
that's nuts.
Yeah, it's been fun and it's been fun to play alongside her. I think we we've developed a chemistry that's like none other. And I've had to play a few games without her, and it's weird. So she's definitely someone I couldn't imagine my Team USA career without, and I'm so thankful for her. We talked about how strong Poulin is. I mean, Decker's right up there and equally as strong. And I know her and Pooh go after it on the face-offs. And me as a winger, I get a front row seat to it.
Yeah. Okay. Two more. The Lamoureux sisters.
Oh, the Lambs! They're not only great teammates, they're great advocates. They're great role models, and they're phenomenal hockey players. And they're two players that when the game gets going and it gets rough and you get down, they're the teammates that are going to pick the team up. They're going to score that big goal, just like both of them did in the Olympic final. Monique scoring the game-tying goal with roughly 7 minutes left, and then Jocelyn, as we all know, her "oops, I did it again" goal. They've been instrumental members of Team USA for, I don't even know how long their careers have been, 12 to 15 years. And they've definitely pioneered our Team USA team. And as mothers, I think they've brought a new reality to what life could be like as a hockey player and as a mom, because a lot of us didn't know that was possible until they both did it. And, their kids are almost a little over 1 year old now. And I think, they're just so inspirational and one of the hardest working people you'll ever meet in the game.
And the last one, can't go without talking about my girl. She a rock star in the hockey world. She gonna sell you that Red Bull good if you follow her on Instagram. Gotta talk about my girl Hillary Knight
and her amazing dogs.
Yeah, the two big boys, eh?
Yeah, they're amazing. I mean, Hillary's she's brought a face, she's brought an image, and she's brought credibility to our game by the way that she plays it, the way that she carries herself. And I mean, she's another one. Big game, big moment, and you usually see her name come up afterwards, and especially when there's a victory. And I can't even name all the milestones she's had over the last few years in the program, but they just keep coming and coming. And I think just recently she had her 200th point with Team USA. She's competed in the most international games for the United States, and a lot of us look at Cami Granado as our heroes and someone we looked up to when we were 6 and 7 years old. And I know there's so many girls that look up to the next number 21, and that's Hillary Knight.
I'm telling you, hey, I'm Canadian. Remember, I'm Canadian, and when we signed her to play for the Les Canadiens in the Montreal in the other league, believe me, I was so happy because I knew what we got, and she embraced the community, and I'm happy that you're saying that about her, man. The pod is usually 30 to 40 minutes. I don't want to, have you here too long. We didn't go into the broadcasting career because I watched clips of it because we don't get it here in Canada, and you're killing it. How is it to be that one girl at that spot and killing it every time?
Well, thank you so much, Kevin. It's an honor to be on the pod, and I hope everyone stays safe and healthy during these times. And we're all on the same team, and we're all going to get through this together. And I know that sports is going to be the one thing that's going to reunite us and reconnect us and celebrate us overcoming this pandemic.
Well, you know what? We're going to have to do a part 2 because it's fun talking to you. And so at one point, we're going to have to do a part 2. I want to make sure you're safe. People can follow you on Instagram at Kendall Coyne. Yeah, that's it. Kendall Coyne. Yeah, that's it. Make sure. Let me make sure, because I don't want people to not follow you at the right. Kendall Coyne 26, so they can follow you on Instagram, and they can go on your website, kendallcoyne.com. Keep on doing the good things you're doing, and man, hey, let's change the world of women's hockey.
Thank you so much, and we will.
What a time, what a moment. I was so shy to speak in English. I remember my first English TV interview was with Hillary Knight, that we'll probably have on a pod. Hillary Knight, the greatest American player of all time. And I remember I was like scared and I didn't want it. I wanted to do it, but I wish that by a miracle, she knew French. I was kind of scared to do it on TV, got through it, and now doing it on the pod. I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't. I mean, yo, it's tough to do an interview in English when back home you only speak French. In my house, we speak French. We use English slurs and stuff like that, but man, we speak French. But doing in a whole interview, or a whole interview, and a whole or a hole. I'm not a hey-hole, but a whole interview with Kendall Coyne in English. It was a challenge for me, and I'm very happy that I got through it. Every Wednesday, you'll have an interview in English with an Anglophone athlete or artist, and this is what makes us very, very proud, because we're going to give content to everybody. And if you're French and you tried it in English and you liked it, man, I'm so happy that there's more content for you. If you want to follow us on social media, at Sans Restriction on Instagram, at Kevin Raphael 21 on Instagram. Holla at us, tell us what you think, and let us know which English superstar you want us to interview on the pod, because we started with a bang. We started with a bang with Kendall Coyne, man. She's one of the biggest star in US. So, let's go, baby. Thanks to Bruno, the engineer. Thanks to Mathieu Brutus with the song. See you next Wednesday, baby.